Hi, welcome to another week with me. I am so happy that you've decided to join me again for another video. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for continuously watching my videos. Let's get into this video. I'm going to tell you about why I quit my job only after 2 months in. Yeah. So a little after I got the job, I got into, I don't even know what it is. Basically, my housemate kicked me out. So he kicked me out his house. He was literally just like, get the fuck out my house. Pack your shit and get the fuck out my house. And this is the middle of the night, and I shit you not, I was just like, on the outside, I was like, whatever. On the inside, I was like, shit. Like, what do I do? Where do I go? It's literally the middle of the night or whatever. So I called my girl and who lives in a Shaw Mine estate, and I was like, yo, like, old dude just kicked me out the house. Can I come over? And it was like 11 o'clock at night or getting to 12 at night. And she was just like, what? And I was like, yeah, I don't really have time to explain it right now, but pin me your location and I'll jump in an Uber and I'll be there within like the next hour or whatever. And she was just like, girl, just come. So I packed a gym bag with everything that I was going to need for like the next couple of days. And I literally just left. And when I was leaving, I don't think he knew, or I don't think he thought that I would actually leave. You know when like you have a word vomit and you don't mean it, but because of what you said, the person acts on it, and then when they are acting on it, you feel guilty. Ghanaians, they have the amazing ability to gaslight you. And I'm just like, oh my god, this is a superpower. This is like, they are so comfortable to insult you right to your face. And then when you say something back, it's like, you're the disrespectful one. Like, they are so comfortable telling you about yourself. But the minute that you open your mouth to tell them about themselves, like, you are the devil, you're disrespectful, your parents didn't raise you well, and who do you think you are? And it's, you started it, I just finished it. They like to dish it, but they don't know how to take it. And I moved to a Shaw Mine estate, and initially it was only supposed to be for a couple of days, but I won't lie to you, I got comfortable. Like, who doesn't want to be living with their best friend? It was really beautiful to me because she lived in her parents' home. So like, she has 2 brothers and a younger sister, and they all just embraced me. And even her dad, like, embraced me and made me feel at home and treated me like I was one of them, and that was really beautiful to me. She works in Jolu and I worked in Central Accra, so I didn't work too far from her. So in the mornings we would get a taxi together, an Uber together, or if her brother had the car and we could use the car, she would drive us to her job, and then I would take a taxi from her job home. At that point that I quit my job, I had moved to North Keneshi, so I had eventually left my girl's house. I paid for the property in Medina, but I never actually spent a night there. I couldn't bring myself to stay there a night by myself. I just couldn't do it. I'm not used to being by myself at any time, being in Ghana. Sleeping in a house by myself, I wasn't used to it. So moving to North Keneshi was just like so beneficial to me, and it was like the perfect situation. And the way in the transportation from my house in North Keneshi to work was just so beautiful. So there was this car that was in the neighborhood, and it was like, imagine a 7-seater, but not in the format of a 4x4. It looked more like the car that you carry dead people in. If you can, do you get what I mean? It looked more like a hearse rather than a normal car, because you could fit like 8 people in. And what that was, I think I paid like 1 CD 50 pesos or 2 CDs 50 pesos, and I would get down at Circle, and then I would cross over and take the taxi that was going into Central Accra. And my apartment in North Keneshi was literally, it's like really small, but it was perfect for me because it was just me, and it was great. And so within my contract, I had to start work at 8:30, and then I would finish work, I think 4 or 5 o'clock. Being a personal assistant was not anything I had ever dreamt of doing, nor anything that I had wanted to do. Is just an opportunity that presented itself, and I took it. Firstly, I wanted a paid job, whether it was in my field or not in my field. And if I couldn't get it in my field, I wasn't going to sit at home and cry about it. I was going to go out there and use the other skills that I have gained and, you know, apply it to this job. What I had to do every morning was get there by 8:30, and then when I get there, my personal boss wouldn't get into the office until about maybe 2 or 3 hours later. He would get into the office, and the moment his car pulls up, you will see like it's scate. Like before he gets in anywhere, or having our breakfast, you know, sometimes I'll have cocoa, sometimes I have wache, or sometimes like there was this lady just outside that did bread and butter, like fresh bread. It was amazing. So I'd get that and then do hot chocolate in the office and then just enjoy it. We'd be laughing, chilling, you know, talking on the reels. The moment his car pulls up, come see everybody running around, like the atmosphere just changed, and I didn't like it because it didn't change for the better. It changed for the worse. Like every other week, someone was crying in that office. I should not be seeing the cracks in your business when I've only been there like 3 weeks. And it's a small team, so they talk. But I just felt like I was the only one that was like, that didn't really have anything to lose. Like I can adapt to it, but you also need to do some adapting. We have to adapt to each other to have a good working relationship. But the reason why I left that job was because, firstly, there was just so much tension in the office when my boss was there. So much tension. I didn't even mind the job. It was just, I don't want to say it, but read between the lines. I just didn't like that hostile environment. Like I wasn't excited to go to work. I wasn't happy to wake up and go to work. I would always be dreading it. And the other thing is like most of the time, probably the reason why I lost so much weight when I was in Ghana was because I couldn't eat properly. So I would have breakfast, and then if he decided to stay in the office right till the end, I wouldn't have time to go and eat lunch. I would have to wait until he was gone for me to eat lunch. And then by that time, it's time for dinner. And then living in a showmine as well, I'd have to like spend about 2 hours in traffic just trying to get home. By the time I get home, it's about getting to 8 o'clock. I don't want to eat. I'm tired. The day was a mess. Very, very tired. Like, give me some water, let me shower, let me go to sleep. The straw that broke my back was that I don't think it was a particular thing. I just had enough. I was like, enough is enough. Like, and what I took from that situation, this really, really rung true for me, is that nobody can make you feel inferior without your consent. And I allowed this person to demean me, make me feel stupid, make me feel like I wasn't educated, like made me feel like I was at the bottom of their shoe just because he was my boss. I've never had really bad anxiety. I've always been very headstrong. I've always been like, you can't do anything about what you can't change, so don't stress about it. So just like go with the flow. I'm really chill sometimes to some people, not to everybody, but like I'm super chilled about certain things, and if I can't change it, I genuinely try not to stress about it because there's nothing I can do that will change the situation. But I remember that morning I'd gotten up, I'd showered, I had the work laptop, I had the work phone, and I looked at it. I looked at my work laptop, I looked at the door in my apartment, and I was like, I broke down. I looked at my work phone, and that phone never stopped going. And even if it did, it will go at the most inopportune times, when I'm in church, when I'm in the shower, when I'm on the toilet, when I'm like, and I always had to have it with me. It always had to have credit. It always had to like be on. It could never be off, apart from when I was sleeping, which was really never, because when I was sleeping, he wasn't sleeping. So then it's like I didn't really have any free time to myself. Like I belonged to him. Like my life for those 2 months belonged to him. And I guess my role was important because I was responsible for a lot of things. That anxiety attack hit so hard that I ended up in hospital. And I don't know what they gave to me in the hospital, but that shit calmed me right down. And I don't really know if it was concerned about me, and I don't really care, to be honest with you. Someone just happened to be in the neighborhood, and they came to check up on me, but they really came to check that I wasn't like sitting at home drinking at 11 o'clock in the morning just avoiding work. They wanted to make sure that like I was indeed in the hospital, and I was in the hospital. And then I think midday, or like close to the end of close of business, the lady that told me to go to the hospital, the one that it was a love and hate relationship with me and that woman. Like one day we like each other, the next day we want to tear each other apart, blah blah blah. But she sat on my hospital bed with me, and she was just like, let me tell you something, this job is not easy. Sometimes I sit in my office and I cry, and but I love what I do. This is something that I always wanted to do, so I have to stick it up. And it's my life is not as easy as yours. You can quit. You don't need this job, essentially. You can find something else that you love. You can find something else that you can do. Like, this isn't even your field. So if you feel like you don't want to do it anymore, you don't have to. It's not by force. So I had already decided that I was going to leave my job, but she just confirmed how I was feeling. Whether it was convenient for her for me to not be in the office, I really didn't care, because that's your life. That's not my life. Like, the day that I quit and did and had to go do my handover, like, the whole office was like, you look so radiant. You look so beautiful. You look so happy. And I was just thinking, yeah, I ain't got Goliath on my back no more. Like, on my shoulders. I don't have that boulder on my shoulders anymore. I don't have that stress on my shoulders anymore. Of course I'm gonna look happier, of course. So that was the reason why I left my job. The work ethic, it's got to do with the work ethic, it's got to do with the drive. And I feel like if I didn't have any other choice, I would have stuck it out. And I feel like that's the case for a lot of Ghanaians who work in that kind of environment and have to deal with it. They don't have any other choice, so they have to make it. You don't have no rights. You don't have no rights. You do not know your rights. You do not know what constitutes your right. You do not know who gave you those rights. They don't give a shit about your rights. There's HR, but is it really HR? So if you think you're gonna leave here or wherever it is that you live, go to Ghana and then be like, I know my right, I know my right. You don't know shit, brother. Sit down. You don't know your rights. But I'll definitely continue to give you the raw content of everything that's going on. So now that I've quit my job, what do I do next? You will find out in my next video. As always, thank you so much for spending time with me. Don't forget to put that notification button on. So thumbs up if you have been through similar experiences. Thumbs down, again, as always, if I'm misrepresenting something. But let me just say, this is from personal experience. And this is how I feel. This is what I saw. This is what I went through. So if there is anything that you feel like is incorrect, factually, let me know. But if it's about my experiences, please keep it to yourself, because you didn't live through it, I did. So thank you so much, and I will see you on the next video.